Hi, everybody, and welcome to the As You Are podcast. My name is Leslie Vandergans. I'm the founder of Enso Coaching and Consulting, and we are here with two of our amazing coaches, Kathleen and Adam.
Hello.
Happy New Year. Well,
Happy New
I guess
Year.
I shouldn't say that, depending
Yes.
on when this.
This is
And
true.
it'll
But
come
Happy
out
New Year
Happy
anyway.
New Year regardless.
Regardless, Happy New Year. Might be 2027.
Oh, well, still a new year than this one.
And we are joined today by Jamie Rogers, who is the associate professor at ACC, who is driving associate professor of drama at ACC, also driving the new musical theater program, which we're super excited to talk about because obviously we're all passionate about that space. So just want to learn a little bit about the program and what you guys are building over at ACC. It's just really, we got to talk a little bit offline, and it was really exciting to hear some of the stuff you guys were working on.
So our musical theater degree program is relatively new. It started in fall of 2023. And the impetus behind that was with our new facility at the Highland campus opening was there during COVID, but officially we moved in during 2021. That was the first time that we had our music, drama, and dance department all housed under one building. And so it seemed just a natural fit to investigate if other community colleges had offered an associate's degree in musical theater. And they have, and especially some community colleges in Texas. I believe Temple College is one of them. And it was a relatively easy process to create the program because we had a bulk of those courses already there. And ease of access for those students to, go to a dance class, come over to the drama department, do a private music lesson. And so we were up and running with fall 2023, beginning with a musical theater production of Bat Boy. And we have had consistent enrollment in the degree program. It is a transfer degree, being an AA degree. And so it seemed a natural fit, or at least the drama department has experienced a lot of growth in the last 4 years.
Really?
And it seemed like the natural step of progression because students were asking, what musical theater opportunities do you have?
Wow.
So it's been, we're a year and a half in. We're still growing. We're still learning. I know that what I'm most proud of is the individualized attention that you get at ACC Drama. We have very low class sizes. So there's a lot of individualized coaching and things that happen within the course itself.
Better than what I got at a big, old 4-year university. Jeez Louise. I would have loved to have Adam as my coach. Goodness gracious.
One of the things I think is really cool about it, because I'm teaching a musical theater practicum course each semester, which is kind of the course that pools together the experiences that the students have received in dance class, in their private voice lessons. So it's kind of a scene study course in a way. And one of the things that I think is so cool about it is, as someone who also coaches a lot of students who are going into traditional 4-year musical theater college programs, that is such a stressful and often unnecessarily, in my opinion, stressful situation for people in this massively, massively competitive environment. As a senior who's just going out of high school into what is in essence kind of your grad school for musical theater in terms of how competitive it is.
Right.
What I love about the program at ACC is that there's no audition. Right. So I think that is so super cool. And I have experienced that as someone teaching these practicum courses, because you would say, well, what if you get someone in there who is has just done 4 years of their high school musical as the lead and et cetera, et cetera. And then you have somebody who comes in and they're simply interested in musical theater. And already in these 2 courses, I have seen the benefits of how that kind of ecosystem in the classroom works on behalf of everybody, on behalf of all the students, because then the curiosity of the folks who are coming in as curious students who may even be taking the course as an elective as part of another degree is really infectious to the ones who have done it for a while. And then, of course, they're learning from the experience from the ones who have done it for a while. It's just a really, really cool environment. And it's kind of unlike any other university system that I've taught in. I think it's a really just an amazing thing.
Was that a conscious choice to say, individuals who are wanting to participate in this program don't have to have experience, don't have to have an audition, don't have to,
I mean, that's primarily part of the community college experience. There is very little barriers to access. We even just in our drama department program or our technical theater degree, there is no audition application process. You become an ACC student and then you declare your major. And then hopefully you come and talk to us as advisors. So we, learn a little bit about you and what your goals are, but nothing is stopping you from entering that program.
Wow. Can you guys talk? I mean, so
I'm like
Kathleen,
grinning over here.
I know. So Kathleen, so you guys have both been involved in this program in some way, shape, or form. Can you talk a little bit about your experience?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I also want to go back even further where I was a genuine student at ACC when I was, I think, 18, 19 years old. I had been at another university that was not a good fit. It was in New York. And I knew I wanted to come back and I knew I didn't want to pay a lot of money. So as I was waiting to apply to UT, I took classes at ACC and saved a ton of money and then was able to transfer those credits really easily. So I have that experience at ACC. But then more recently, I was an adult, putting quotes around that, an adult actor. Because I'm an adult, more quotes. I was in a production of Bat Boy, directed by Jamie. That was so much fun. And in the same way as Adam was speaking to you have the people who come into the program who were the lead in their musical for all 4 years of high school. Also in the productions, I'm an actor who acts all over town. I'm an actor who acted in New York. Here I am. I'm getting to go into this community college program where you did have students. So same sort of thing where you have people of different experience levels who get to come together and who have, it's you can always learn no matter what your age. And so it was fun to be able to work alongside the students. And that also includes the students from the technical theater side of things, where it's you really get the holistic program. We were joking ahead of time where for the people who were part of the sound tech side of things, that it was you had 8 or 9 people who were helping out with the microphones. They did great sound checks. For the costume side of things, where it was there was one moment where I had 3 quick costume changes over the course of 45 seconds. And you have the dressers who are backstage just quickly doing everything. That you really have, because it's community college, all these resources that when I'm, acting at other theaters that we'll put quotes around professional, you don't necessarily have the same access to resources. So as a again, quote, professional adult, that it's a really great professional experience for me in that setting as well. So I just love it so much. And I love going to see shows there because it also only costs $7.
That's awesome.
Which a lot of theater around town costs so much more than that now. So the theme of accessibility, both in terms for students, but then also for audience members, I think really comes through.
Yeah. And all of our ticket sales go towards our drama and dance department scholarships. None of those are used towards our production costs whatsoever. So if you come and you buy a ticket to support an ACC drama production, you are supporting our students for their help in their education journey.
I have a question, Jamie, about something that Kathleen, I love these conversations. We always have such a good volley back and forth. What's the right sports metaphor?
Yep.
I'm sure it was wrong.
Pickleball.
So I know that there is sort of, in the community college system, at least at ACC, there are certain degrees or courses that are sort of workforce is the name around them, right? One of the things I think is really cool about ACC, and you're reminding me, Kathleen, when you were talking about the tech programs, is that it is eminently practical, the training that you're getting there. And I loved grad school. I loved all the theoretical, me. I loved all that stuff. However, because there are not graduate programs at the school, I think what often happens is that's where so much of the attention goes in big university situations that have undergrad and graduate programs. And here, like, everybody is kind of on that same playing field of opportunity and where the resources are allocated. Could you talk a little bit about sort of the workforce philosophy and practice as it goes into like theater?
Yeah. So ACC Drama, we have 4 degree awards, really. We have the Drama AA, which is the general drama degree, where you'll have an acting class, sort of like a general theater overview. You may take a costume technology class, you may take a stagecraft class, voice acting, but primarily the AA degree in drama is for those students who want to transfer to a 4-year institution and get that bachelor's degree. The musical theater drama AA degree is also one meant for transfer. But before 2020, we had a lot of drama AA students that are like, I like the costume technology class, I like the stagecraft class, but I want to know more, and I don't know if I primarily want to transfer to a 4-year institution. I want to immediately go into the Austin theater community and begin working. And so that was the start of the creation of our AAS degree in technical theater, which was a long process to get that degree approved. But it is a workforce degree. It's an Associate of Applied Science. And we have 2 tracks there. We have a track in costume and makeup, and then we have one in set and lights. And it's sort of the reverse of the AA degree and how the program is set up. For the AA degree, primarily you have, 60 credit hours, let's say, with the ideal of having 15 credit hours per semester. In the AA degree, you would probably have 45 degree credits in general education, so math, science, history, but only 15 in your specialty in the drama. And in the Associate of Applied Science, it sort of flips it, so that you have 45 credits in your specialty. And so our courses in our costume, makeup, set and lights track are almost graduate level degrees.
Incredible faculty designers.
Oh my gosh.
Just amazing.
And most of our faculty are always constantly involved in the Austin theater community. They're constantly working their gigs throughout the year as well. So it's a great networking opportunity for those students. In fact, I always say that ACC drama students are everywhere because I can show up to watch a show and I'm like, I didn't know that you were involved in this.
Yeah.
You are. Why didn't you tell me? So like for costumes and makeup, we're dealing with prosthetics and latex. We are costumes. We have, textiles and crafts and pattern making. But it's also teaching them how to design. In all of these technical theater classes, you're designing, but then you're practically knowing how to do it. Rachel teaches our lighting technology, our lighting design courses. And the idea is that once you complete it, you go immediately to work. You don't need to, you can, if you want to, still transfer to the 4-year institution. But a lot of our students are choosing just to go into the workforce and build a career for themselves. Yeah. And in fact, we are starting a process, a collaboration with the local IATSE union. We are finding ways, what we're trying to investigate is trying to find ways that when you graduate with an AS degree at ACC Drama, that you have easy access to union membership.
Wow, that's really great. And I'm just curious, just from your stance, like how are you seeing the kind of changing landscape of education as a whole impacting people choosing things that are a little bit more practical? So like, again, I think theoretically, when I was growing up, you go to a 4-year college, you graduate, you get a job, and then that's kind of, then you pay off your student loans, et cetera.
And then you turn 70.
Thank you. Yeah. Yes. But in reality, I think, there's a different conversation that's kind of happening around higher education. And I'm just curious how this is impacting what you guys are seeing at the community college.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on around about higher education, the value of higher education, the high cost. And I think that a lot of those things became more apparent coming out of quarantine and COVID, as far as, how much do I want to go into debt for a possible career path that I don't necessarily know will be there. And I think that was a more widespread feeling. Also, the attacks on higher ed, as far as, elitist or anything like that. So I think that for ACC, I think that we've done our best to combat that in a lot of ways. We are not seeing low enrollments. We're seeing very high enrollments. Most of our classes are making fairly easily. We have this new, free tuition at ACC for the class of 2024, which is a new pilot program, which, if you are in Austin, Texas, and you are in state, you can apply as a recent graduate of 2024, you can apply and get free tuition. And that is free tuition. So if you, have scholarships, if you have a Pell Grant, if you want to take out a student loan, all of that money can be used for groceries, housing, book expenses. I mean, we have the high cost of higher education, but we also have a high cost of living. And ACC has gone above and beyond, I think, in piloting this program to see, does free tuition work? And I think that a lot of class of 2024 graduates looked at that and said, maybe I can take this time. And I wasn't even thinking about community college, but it's free. And I have seen the facilities, and I have seen the quality of the instruction and the resources. Why not take this time for myself to prepare myself for the 4-year college, if that is something I still want to do, or do I maybe want to choose a workforce degree? So, I know my kids struggle with that and they both have parents that went the whole 4-year institution graduate school route, but they also see us, still paying student loans and, and they're very much like, I don't know if I want to, be in debt for something that may not be guaranteed. And for a career in the arts, that there's no clear journey from point A to point B in that discovery process for what that career in the arts looks like. So maybe don't go too much into debt while you're trying to figure that out.
Right.
So I think with all of us student support services that we have at ACC, we have, mental health counseling. We have a food pantry at most of our campuses. I know at Highland we have a pretty substantial food pantry for students where they just need to, check in with their student ID and they can grab food. We have a student emergency fund that students can apply for. A lot of the times, your car breaks down and all of a sudden you think, well, you know what that means? I'm not going to finish my degree, so I'm just going to quit my courses. No. Apply for the student emergency fund. This is not an end all be all. We can get you back on track. You just need to let us know what you need. And so I think that there is a groundswell of support for students. I think there has been some criticisms of higher ed, but I think most colleges are looking at that to be like, you know what? We are expensive and we need to find a way to cut those costs so that we can still make it a valuable asset to folks. Because I owe everything to higher education. I do. It's the mentors that I found in school really helped me decide what my path would be. It's not to say that my family didn't support, but I think everyone, everyone needs someone to support them that has your back and opens up your mind to opportunities that you didn't think may have been available to you. So yeah.
Well, that's one of the things I think also that I love that I have already seen and experienced on that campus. And there are 13 ACC campuses. I mean, it's a huge network, and that also adds to the geographic accessibility.
Yep.
And I know we both teach online courses as well. So I mean, there are so many different ways that people can access that. But what I think is cool is this dichotomy of the individual attention and also the collaboration. I know is it every semester maybe? There's a collaborative design course that's offered, and they turn one of the studio classrooms, because I mean, these facilities are amazing. I mean, just, a row of studio classrooms outfitted with tech and lighting and it's amazing. They turn one of the studio classrooms into a collaboratively designed environment that if you've done Sleep No More, it's almost like a one room kind of like situation where they, go through. And I did the one in the last spring, which I think was, it was set in like the 40s, I think, if I remember right. And it was a Shakespeare play, I think, is the concept. Walking through that was so cool. It is literally one of the coolest things I have done, that I have seen students work together on.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to take this course.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to schedule out the time so I can come take this course, because it was incredible. And I'm like, this is who did this? Can we hire them for everything? It's just so awesome. And I think that the ability to learn how to collaborate in a highly collaborative form, but also to get the individual mentorship is such a special, unique thing that students there can access.
That's so great. What as you guys are kind of developing, this program, and as obviously your engagement is up and people are participating and all of that, what are some of the big things that you're learning about, what we have to take to the next phase and how you're going to continue to expand and grow?
Yeah, I mean, for a year and a half of a new program, I think we're at 50 enrolled students, which is great. And I only see that number improving. I think that there's a lot of takeaways, or a lot of things that we are learning. And I also have, big dreams for where I would like to go, but nothing's set in stone. I don't have, I'm just more excited to know where the program will go. Because it's such individualized instruction, and many students come from us from all walks of life, and part of the community college thing is that we meet the student where they are and take them where they want to be. So there are a lot of students that, yes, I am going to go to Texas State, and that is what I'm going to do for their musical theater degree program. There are those, I'm leaving for New York City and I'm just going to make it on Broadway. And then there's others that, I've always wanted to try this, and I don't know what the goal is, but I want to see where it leads. And I think all three of those things are exciting for where students want to go. Some just early takeaways would probably be, putting on a musical every year is a lot. It's a lot, We were always just, we were doing a lot of non-musicals, but now if you have a musical theater program, it seems a little weird not to have a musical theater show as part of your season. And those are heavy lifts.
The ones Jamie chooses are heavy lifts. That boy. I was like, oh yes, one of the most difficult scores. It's great. I love it.
But he has Adam. So
yeah, exactly.
So true.
Exactly. And so, trying to balance how that works production-wise is a challenge. We are still trying to figure out ways to have live band in our black box space. For our last two musicals, we had recorded music, but I think it is essential for a musical theater student to have the experience of a live band. And so that is my hope for the next musical.
Great for musicians too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But there's a lot of, right now our focus has been on getting the word out, and trying to have a foundation for them and looking at what that program is. But where that program takes us, I want to have, more areas of performance opportunities, formal or informal, open mic nights or, a cabaret kind of thing where they get a chance to show off their talents and what they've been working on. a college prep weekend, when it can identify those students that are getting ready for their musical theater audition for your institution, that we have some sort of workshop for them available. Trying to find a way, this seems odd, but it's when you have a lot of students in a community college degree program, it can be, since everyone is coming from all walks of life, it is sometimes hard to create a sense of community. Making sure everyone is available at a certain time to come and gather. We have some events in the drama department called Makers and Methods events, which were started, in 2016, because some students were wanting more community, more chances to come together. And so we created these Makers and Methods events where, we can talk more about behind the scenes of what's going on in our next production, have guest artists, workshops, we have food, and it's a chance for us to gather together. And I would love to find ways to meet together more as a group of musical theater, to really assess that now that this program's underway, what do they want to see happen? Where do they want the program to go? But also for us to have community within that.
Wow.
I want to say one other thing about that, which is just that I think it's also really cool that, and I think this is maybe if people are listening and they're like, oh, that sounds like it might be a cool thing for me to explore. In my last 2 courses, practicum courses that I taught, I had what you would think of as the traditional student who's coming out of high school. I actually had one student who I think might still be a senior in high school in the course. Maybe they had just graduated last year, but in any case, both of those courses, I also had someone who had a PhD in psychology and a master's in, I'm not sure what, but in any case, people from the community can come to take part in these courses as well, and don't, correct me if I'm wrong, don't have to declare that as their major, correct? Okay. So there are options for people who are interested, who might already have another career, and can come in and take part in these, which is enriching for everybody again,
Yes, it's so funny you brought that up, because I was thinking about it as well, where I'm like, yeah, so often I'm like, I want to just go and take classes at ACC. And I also know people in my life who've done it in part, like they'll take a class that they're curious about, but they also do it so they can have access to the resources, right? Like having some mental health resources that are there, where it's like they don't have health insurance, they can't afford to go see a therapist in their life, but they can spend $300 on a semester-long course, learn something, and then have access to that as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right? I know.
That's awesome.
I think it's, and I don't know, I can't speak to private universities or other major 4-year universities, but like what I always take away when there's conversations about ACC is how student-centered it is. I don't ever feel like it's a for-profit mindset. It is, what can we create? How can we be more accessible? What might not we be thinking about that we should be?
Right.
And I guess even in that, like, what are some gaps that you see that might need to be filled?
In the department?
Yeah.
I would like to see more opportunities for collaboration, not only with theaters in the Austin community, but I would love to find collaboration with a 4-year institution. There was a conference I went to a couple years ago where someone talked about this project that happened where they had a community college drama department that was perhaps suffering from getting folks to transfer. And then there was a 4-year institution that was suffering low enrollments. So in their drama departments. So they worked on a drama production together. So it meant having the community college students, drama students, go to the 4-year institution to put on a show. And, labor was divided evenly amongst who was going to be the director from the community college or from the 4-year institution. And there were a lot of benefits that came out of that. Once you see yourself in that 4-year college, on that stage working with folks, that they saw that their interest in the transfer of the 4-year institution went up. And also then the 4-year institution also saw enrollment. So I would love to collaborate with the drama department at a 4-year institution and have that kind of collaboration. I would love to see a season of collaborative shows at ACC Drama where, we collaborate with a particular theater in Austin and really strengthen those networking opportunities. So yeah, I mean, those are bigger goals for the department. I also think that there is an opportunity to use those summer months for something. And I don't know if that's new work exploration or, new work musical theater.
Looking at Adam.
But there are some months in the summer where we could do something more.
It's interesting, even the concept of having, the ACC community going out and working with the theater. I'm also curious what the, quote unquote professional, performers, technicians, et cetera, get out of a young, kind of ambitious group of individuals who are kind of fresh off of learning, getting kind of reintegrated back into, this professional scene, how much more those professional artists will be like, oh, there's a new way of doing lights that I have not been exposed to because I've been doing it the same way for so long. And I'm so ingrained in the community that, there's some learning for me, or there's a new technique, a vocal technique or something that somebody is using that they can, tap back into. And, as much as it might benefit the students, I also am curious how, it could potentially benefit professionals to get exposed to some new ways of thinking and being and, performing.
Yeah, I mean, there are, in our AAS technical theater degree, we have what are called certificates. So someone in the community can come in and maybe they don't want to have the whole AAS degree, but you know what? I'm a high school theater teacher and I am, someone that is always having to do lights the last minute. And if I could just go to ACC and just do a lighting theater certificate, I can know enough to program the light board myself. I know enough to do, design lights for what I need to do for my show.
That's great.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think another, to piggyback on what you were saying about another gap is that I'm always looking at maybe new degree programs. And so one thing that I do think that I would like to explore in the next decade is some sort of live entertainment management. There is a lot of arts admin, a lot of need for stage managers. Austin has a lot of creative people. There's a lot of art that's going on. What we're lacking is creative spaces in order to do that art, but also administrators, managers to get those things done. And so trying to find some live entertainment technology and live entertainment management degree where we strengthen our stage management focus, whether that's workforce or I'm still figuring out that is
business courses at
Yeah,
that would be
100%.
another collaborative opportunity.
Yeah. Arts business, right?
Yeah.
And there's music
absolutely.
business degree that's going on right now. We could have our students managing and administrating a lot of the events that are currently going on at the Highland campus.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. What an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're kind of thinking through, obviously creating these programs and what the future holds, like what's the biggest challenge that you guys face?
I think it's always, for a lot of departments in the art realm is are making sure that folks know that art is important, that it's valuable.
Yeah,
all of us nod our heads.
Yeah, I mean, it's we are vital, And I think that a lot of times, I don't feel this at ACC, but a lot of times, it's the drama department. It's the art thing,
Right.
I think it's we stake our claim, and and then the only other thing is just making sure that we keep on doing what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
That we still keep our class sizes low.
Mm-hmm.
That our growth doesn't mean that any of those things, that the strengths that we're doing as a program lessen in time.
Yeah.
And also knowing when to hold back on growth
Mm-hmm.
and when to move forward.
Yeah.
I think it's very, very important to look at where you are. And we do this, on like some sort of like program review, like every 3 years. We look at what is the data? What is the statistics? Who is coming to us from where? And how are they being successful? What is our graduation rates? What are our transfer rates? Where are the areas where we can improve? Do a SWOT analysis on those things. And then we come up with goals about what are things we want to accomplish in the next 3 years. So always knowing where you're at is also highly important. Yeah.
I love that.
And I really want to shout out Jamie
Yes.
and also Dr. Marcus McWhorter, who is
yes.
the chair of the drama department at ACC, because they both work tirelessly. I ever have a question, I probably, if it were 3 a.m, I could text either Jamie or Marcus and get an immediate response. I mean, there is a passion for education and even though I said earlier that, you don't have the graduate aspect of things, which also means you don't have faculty who have to be so focused on publish or perish and research and all that. I know Jamie still is very involved in a research organization within academia, right? I mean, the conference. Yeah. So that does not mean that any of that stops necessarily on behalf. You're still having faculty who are doing research, who are working in the highest levels of the echelon, all of those kinds of things.
Right.
It's just not such the pounding down of like, did you write your 6 books published by these individual houses for tenure,
Right.
And that frees a lot, I think, but it doesn't mean that you're getting any less interest in the ongoing conversations in higher education, in the arts world, from the faculty either.
Right.
So I just think it's been an amazing experience to have you all as colleagues and to get to work with you.
No, I mean, I absolutely love everyone that I work with, and that says a lot.
Yeah,
that is important. And Dr. Marcus McWhorter is the best boss, the best supportive. Anything. That's this idea, that idea. Yeah, he is a wonderful leader that accepts all of that and says, well, how can I support you in that?
Love that.
So just
important.
very, very, very supportive boss.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And to your point about needing the support of the art, wanting arts to continue to stay at the center. I don't know, we've talked about this before, like the hope is with all this work around AI and all this work around digital and all of those things that like art in its live form becomes so much more valuable, right? Like the Renaissance is a coming because we don't know what's real or what's not when we're like looking at our phone and looking at TV. And so let's just hope that you guys get a surge because of, what's coming, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
At some point, that authenticity curve is going to hit the horizon.
Exactly.
And I think that's where we are all looking.
Yeah, exactly. What an opportunity. Okay, so where can people find out more about the program and engage in it and sign up for a class or two? Or
yeah, I mean, you can go to the official, Austin Community College District website and find ways to register there, find more information about, the free tuition pilot program that's going on. And from there, you can get to the ACC Drama website, and all of the information there about all of our degree rewards are there, what's upcoming in our production season and so forth, and scholarship opportunities as well.
Love it. Community engagement, people can take classes, there's free tuition, there's accessibility. I mean, you guys are doing some amazing stuff. This is really powerful. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And then I'm just going to do a little plug too. That's like, I'm not taking classes there, but I still was in a show. So also if you're just
Mhm.
like curious about getting involved in the theater department and not looking to have that formal education side, like also look it up.
I love that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We are a community college, and so our auditions are open to the public, not only just for our students.
So cool.
It's a special place.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jamie. Really appreciate your time.
Thank
This was
you.
fantastic.
Thank you for
learning
having me.
about you guys. Yeah, thank you. All right. And thank you guys for joining us. And as always, please subscribe to the As You Are podcast on all platforms, and we will see you soon. Thanks.
Bye.